So bring it in right here, because I got a rumor to talk about. Recently, I was on social media, scrolling like most of us do, and I stumbled upon this nice little article by Sony Alpha Rumors talking about a new possible very interesting lens by Sony. So as you know, Sony has been coming out with a couple new lenses. They came out with their new 24-50, that's an f2.8. That is kind of like a smaller version of their 24-70 with missing some range, of course. And now I stumbled upon this one, which is going to be kind of interesting because of what's been, coming out. It's their 24-70 f2. That's the rumor of supposedly a new lens coming out by Sony sometime. And it's interesting to, see that they're going out with that route. And I want to discuss it with you guys to see your thoughts as well. Now, me personally, I don't like talking about just rumors. I usually like to wait up until a, product has already been launched so I can see more information on it to talk about my, my thought process, if it's something for me or who could it be for. But with me having a little bit of experience, I guess you would say, with my Tamron 35-150 being an f2 to 2.8, also knowing a bit of the Canon 28-70, that's an f2, I thought it'd be interesting to talk about this possible rumor to know if it's something that could happen, would it be worth it, and is it something, that would most people want or not? So personally for me, having a 35-150 that's an f2 to 2.8 is a big lens. If you've ever seen the Canon lens, that's a 28-70, that's an f2 as well. Well, you know that it's also a thick lens and a big lens at that when it comes down to the form factor and everything due to it being an f2. So now seeing about this possible 24-70 f2, it's kind of interesting to see that Sony brought that thought out because they just recently brought out their 24-50 f2.8, which is kind of interesting to see that they came out with that, even if they were planning to do a 24-70. I know that I talked about in that video about having good diversity when it comes down to lenses and bodies like how Sony does, which is good for having not one shoe size fit all, but have a little bit more options for niche down kind of things, which makes sense in my honest opinion, because the 24-50 that came out is more of a condensed type of, telephoto range-ish type of zoom lens with the wideness and everything, where it's not as costly as our 24-70 G Master lens. So now this lens of the 24-70 being an f2, that means it's going to have to be a very big and thick boy for it to be able to host that range, I would assume, with also that f2 aperture. I'm not a engineer or a camera anything type of maker or anything like that. I don't know how to build one, but I mean, I've had my fair share of experience using them, that it would be interesting to see of this lens to be anything but a big and thick boy. So not only that, it's also going to be interesting the price point that they're going to have to go with, because you don't want to obliterate your own lenses and cripple yourself that way, where you just don't have the option of selling other lenses, but you want to give more options. So my guess, it's going to be about $3,000 plus, because the minimum has to be more than the G Master lenses of their 24-70, the second version that came out. And obviously it's not going to be in the middle between that and the 24-50 f2.8, because that would make zero sense when it comes down to that. So now for me, obviously, with it being a rumor, it's interesting to talk about and think about, because there's a lot of possibilities that could happen. That's one of the reasons why I choose not to always kind of talk about rumors and wait until it's put out. But I mean, it'd be an interesting lens, to say the least. I think a lot of people would be interested, especially the people that shoot a lot of portrait style, that they like their prime lenses because they have that 1.2, 1.4, 1.8 style. And in reality, if you shoot at a 1.4 to 1.8, you won't see that much of a difference with an f2. And I feel like you'd probably just be happier to condense down to a one lens thing to be able to have the zooming range capabilities instead of having to change lenses all the time. That's one of the reasons why I love my 35-150 being an f2 to 2.8 when I did my comparison with my 35 at 1.4 and my 85 at 1.8. There was really little to no difference whatsoever that you would have been, wow, I need to have extra lenses just for that purpose. So that's one of the main benefits that I could see from that 24-70. And my guess is to compete with the Canon 28-70, or unless, Sony stumbled on their own little rumor themselves that maybe Canon or somebody like that is coming out with a 24-70 f2, and they want to get, ahead of the curve and compete with it as much as possible and keep pushing boundaries. The thing that I always try to tell people is that it's always good for them to keep bringing out sometimes unorthodox type of lenses, because it helps to innovate creativity of the type of of lenses to be able to have different brands bring more options because it benefits the consumer rather than just them. Sure, Sony might be doing it to get more market share over Canon, or Canon might bring something out to take away more from Sony because they want to keep dominating in that aspect. Who knows? But at the end of the day, having that kind of, diversity of options is always good for the consumer. Is it going to be priced at the, average consumer kind of type of range? More than likely not, which is perfectly fine because I can understand an f2 lens with that zoom range and everything. It's not going to be just a cheap lens to have. So it makes sense for them to maybe put it in a higher price point for the people that are very interested in that, like the people that get the 24-70 G Master lens. But all in all, it's obviously a rumor, so I thought it'd be fun to discuss about it, to know your thoughts on it. Would you be interested in a 24-70 f2? And how much would you be willing to pay for it? And also, I guess, how much would you hope of it being, of the weight of it and the size of it, to know if it'd be worth it for you, for the price comparison and everything? I'm always curious to know if that's something that you'd be interested in, because for me personally, I would be somewhat interested, but I don't think I could spend that much money on that lens if it's that expensive, despite of it being an f2. I have my 20-70, that's an f4 that works perfectly for my needs right now. And obviously it never hurt anybody to have an f2.8 or, f2 in a sense of that style. But I do like the wider range part of the 20mm. That's why I didn't go with a 24-70 or anything like that when it came down to getting that type of lens. So for me personally, I don't think I really care for it, but I like the innovation and competition to be brought so that people can maybe get it eventually. But anyways, that's all that I have for you guys. So leave your comment down below to know what your thought process is. And I would love to know your thoughts in that aspect and see, what else we can kind of get out of, some rumors out there that you might have heard for camera gear that would be interesting to talk about. But with all that said and done, guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure to like and subscribe to this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.